All right, welcome back. So, I was thinking today's episode probably gonna be to figure out, because so many different things have to happen upon a collision. Like, let's just do one of them, which is we need to respawn after we die. So, if we get triggered to die, a new version of us should pop up. And look, if we watch the original, when we die, it'll spawn us with. Oops. Sorry about that. The heck? I don't know why I did that. So we die, we spawn, we flicker, until we move. It's temporary safety. So how long is that? You know, we want to be game accurate or close to game accurate. Oh, get dunked on. Okay, I'm gonna try to set a timer as soon as I die. Oh, oh, oh no! I gotta do it again. I gotta die on my first life. Die to respawn time. So we start with 4 lives. Wave 1 spawns. Okay, so look, die, start timer, and we stop blinking just at like 4 seconds. 4 seconds of temporary safety, unless something's colliding. See how, shoot, maybe it didn't. I feel like it lingered when people were walking through him, but I really don't. No, I think it's just 4 seconds, period. So let's see if we can just get us spawning after dying. And then we're gonna have to have some same code that kind of, remember we already kind of figured that out with our enemy ostrich. Because if you look at our enemy ostrich, see how they raise up from the ground like that? We need to do something like that with us when we die. It's hard to guarantee a death, you know? It needs to be right after they jump, yeah. So yeah, so right now we're just completely death. I don't know why those guys are still a little janky. We'll have to figure that out. But we need to we need to spawn another player upon death, like once self exploded, right? So like is there, in our ostrich class we have a self exploded, right? Are we ever setting this to true? 6 matches. If not exploded, do this. If self exploded. Oh, I already have an explosion timer. Hmm. That's the yeah, that's the explosion sprites 1, 2, and 3. So we need a okay, well we already have self exploded. So we just need to say huh. We need to reset oh shoot. No, if explosion timer is only local to our ostrich instantiation, it doesn't quite help us. If not self-exploded. Okay. If self-exploded. Okay. I guess this self-explosion timer just grows with delta time, which doesn't have to be the case. You know, we can say shoot. We want to remove this ostrich from our table. No, we're not trying to store our player objects in a table. How do we do it? If we're really worried about explosion timer updating endlessly, I feel like we need another. Oh crap! I don't know. It's not in our render function, but in our update function. We need to say if our explosion timer is greater than, well, am I? I'm incrementing explosion timer. And then I'm saying if explosion timer is smaller than 1, play the first frame. If it's smaller than -2, play the next frame. If it's smaller than -3, play the last frame. And then we keep incrementing over explosion timer with DT, and then it keeps growing. But we really need to delete our player character, deduct one of our total lives, and then spawn a new ostrich with temporary safety that flashes. So it sounds like we need to add that functionality to our ostrich class itself, and then have some logic saying if newly spawned, trigger the raising out of the ground bit, temporary safety. Temporary safety. Yeah, we could figure this out. It's not so easy though. This is definitely the biggest project I've ever done. In-game stuff, like the code base, for sure is the biggest thing I've ever worked on. Just in the ostrich class. That's just in the ostrich class. All that code. Okay. So what do we really need to do here? Yeah, we need to stop updating our first live. We need to stop updating our first life. Because once we die, we don't want to keep track of any data for that ostrich anymore because we're dead. We just need to deduct their life and then spawn a new ostrich. And everything relating to that dead ostrich doesn't apply to this new ostrich. You know, its exposition is totally different. Its state is totally different. It'll be in a blinky, immortal state, which we also have to add in at some time. You know, we might figure out the flashy bit, but then you have to actually implement. What that means is when there's a collision and we're flashing, that's when we don't actually render a deduction of a life or a true exploded getting set to true. Maybe that it should be called death instead of exploded, because that's what it really is. It's like once collision is detected by the enemy and their joust is high enough, which we also need to add. Maybe that's a better thing to add first. No, it's hard to test because our AI for our vulture is hard to create right now. So it's hard to get them to reliably jump and be able to kill us. But we can do... I still think we should try to do this. I'm just curious about our jump function for our vulture AI. Like where we set the... we should have a note for this, but I don't think we do have a note for this. Gosh. Holy shit. Holy crap. Where do we do this? Jumping gets true. So what do we do? What do we do in our jumping? Yeah, we really need to figure that out too. Is there any other time we use jumping logic? If jumping grounded is false. Self ty is -2. So yeah, this is not player 1 jumping. This is vulture jumping. And it's more specifically vulture jumping flag and height. So because we're saying we're not grounded, so don't apply. Wait, if we're swapping grounded to false, I guess grounded should be determined on the detection of a hitbox, was my understanding, but oh, see, this is where we mess up. This is where we mess up. So in the original, what I have currently is there's a jump timer of like 2 seconds. And it's just, so the ostrich is going like 2 seconds and then jumping, 2 seconds, jumping. And that's the AI right now, which is like super simple. But in Joust, what really happens is they kind of like, most of the time they're kind of in the air. And when they jump, it's like jump, 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 jump. And they don't raise that high, but they do jump, 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 and then keep falling and then jump, 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 jump. it's not this like sine wave of jumping -2 dy every perpetually, you know, which is what it is currently. So we do need to rehaul that too. That, and if we do that, it makes it easier for us to detect the hitbox. No, it makes it easier for us to test us getting exploded, so we can then test how to spawn us into a temporary safety state and then blink us free after 4 seconds. Make us vulnerable again after 4 seconds. They're like kind of simple things to do, but they're really actually not. Like they're kind of like their own things to tackle, really. So I guess I'm trying to say we should fix this jumping behavior, because it helps us test our next behavior, which is spawning a new player upon death. So we get the enemies working better first, and then we'll do that. Okay. What's going on, man? I don't think ostriches can, or I don't think vultures can skid, can they? They kind of just run and jump, I think. They don't really turn directions or anything. So let me see if we use skid anywhere else. Oh, we do have an ostrich skid animation, which, see, I copy and pasted this, which is why I have all the wrong notes, which gets confusing. Gosh, I just typed the wrong thing. Yeah. There's so much to do. There's so much to do. And oh my god, and we haven't even done the eggs yet. We haven't even done the eggs yet. It's so jank how it's put together. I'm looking at some of the code here. It's hard to, I could have definitely chosen some better names for some of these things. But anyways, we need to do this differently. I guess first, let's see if our self dy, when we're setting it to the -0.2 or whatever it was, upon jumping every 0.2 dt. That was it. If jumping. See, we need to do that differently. We need to do that differently. But look, if we do this to be -0.4, now they jump twice as high. Yeah, that makes it easier to detect too. But they, wow, why do they bounce like that? It's so weird. Oh, gosh, they get messed up. They get messed up. But yeah, we need to spawn us again. Shoot. There's so many things to do, guys. I think we should just work on getting us spawned again, so that we can keep testing the weird vulture stuff at this point. Because we have to, well, I guess shoot. I just remembered we have a ability to reset our positions. So that's almost what we want to happen, right? What we want to happen is once we're dead, we press, or under certain condition, which is like we deduct a life and then just spawn you under a new platform. We're back. And you've got your own hitboxes and your own X position ultimately, but right now it's stuck at hard-coded right there. But if you look at our vultures coming in, they come up from the floor like that, which we'll have to either use that same logic, which we probably should just use that same logic because we already figured it out. Excuse me. God dang, they're so janky. They're so janky. We need to figure that out too. God, it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming how much there is to do. I guess I mean, we've got... Yeah, we just need to pick one thing and do it. Let's spawn us with 4 lives. And count down our lives upon death first. So, ostrich. Knit. No, we wouldn't want to do that. Maybe in our play state literally has the lives. A lives table or a lives value that gets 4. And then if we're exploded, if player 1 dot exploded is true, we need to deduct a life set. See, no, that's not exactly true. Because we need to finish exploding before we decrement a life, otherwise the animation wouldn't fully play out. We need that object to exist until the animation fully plays out. So we should keep the exploded timer, but we should add a death flag that says if exploded is bigger than the 3rd frame of our explosion animation, then we've officially died. And then over here we say if any of the players die. So yeah, we would have to say, shoot. Okay, so here's another problem. Like, we're rendering player 1, which, no, I guess player 1 is our ostrich instantiation though. But we'll be deleting this. So when we press R, where are we? Oh, we're just reassigning it into player 1. So why wouldn't we be able to do that? Because all we're trying to do is decrement our life, give us another instantiation, which is still player 1. Could do all the same stuff, still be called player 1. Okay, so we need to say okay. We need to okay. Yeah, we need to have that death flag. We need to have a death member assigned false upon initialization. Yet, if we're ever if our explosion time, if our explosion timer right here is greater than, is equal to or greater than, I mean, actually this should probably be equal to, you should all probably be equal to be inclusive, I guess. And then anything longer than the 0.3 of a second of delta time, yeah, 0.3 of a second after exploded is triggered, we officially die. But we won't update the die member in our render, in our ostrich render function. We would do it up here in the update function. And we would say if self dot explosion timer is greater than 0.3, then self dot death gets true. Yeah, self.death gets true. That's like a freaking grunge band name or something. If self-explosion timer greater than 0.3, self.death gets true. So what that allows us to do, that gives us our ostrich instantiation, a flag we can test for in our play state, and say, right now we just want to spawn it. Just spawn it. We don't want to worry about spawning it at a platform and raising it just yet. We just want to kind of get it back. So we're trying to say if self.death, this isn't our update function, right? If self.death, that means we need to reinstantiate, just like in our reset over here. We need to reinstantiate an ostrich object, and we can still call it player one. It'll just mean on that frame we die, we'll have another player one at the hard-coded position if this is working correctly. And this isn't self.death. This is actually player one.death because we're outside of our ostrich class code. But that should give us the result of hitting R upon death and the explosion timer fully running through. We still have collision wrong on that upwards. There we go, yeah. So what's the next step of this? Once we still can get controlled. See, look, we need temporary timer, temporary safety, and we need to spawn us at a different location. I think in the game it spawns you at like a random portal position, and the enemies come from random portal positions too, or scripted portal positions. Maybe what we should do is do another button to reset our vultures so we can test them coming out and see how that goes. So we can say, where is our instantiation of vultures here? Right there. So we need to do something. We need to basically do this exact same thing, right? Just again, after we initialize, if a certain key is pressed. So we can set V to reset our vultures. so we can see them rise up, so I can kind of analyze it closer, because we need to figure this out for the player too, so we need to get it right, you know. I mean, we need to get it right on both of them, but left.keyboard was pressed B. Then we want to do something. And that something is we need to remove. See, I'm trying to remember how the remove function works. It takes in a table, I'm pretty sure, and then it takes in an index, which in this case would just be vultures at. We can either remove them one by one, or we can program it to be scalable, because for right now, let me just try to do it one by one right now, saying like, oh, that's not what I wanted. So we're saying table.remove from vultures table, remove vultures, remove that key value pair, or whatever tables get treated as in Lua. And the second one, because we have two actually. We inserted both. But what we need to do upon pressing V is also reinstantiate new vulture instances after we wipe our vulture table. Let's see if that works. So if we hit V, bad argument to remove. Okay. Number expected got table. So it needs to be like the, is that not the index of the table? It's not the index of the table, it's like the value of the table at the index. So do we literally just say remove two and remove one, like clear every vulture index? I don't know if that makes any sense. Well, it worked. So the thing was, the argument to remove, the second argument passed to remove isn't the value you're trying to remove, because the value you're trying to remove is just all this ostrich data. It's a table, like Lewis said. But what it needs to know is which index of the table do I remove? Now I'm wondering if it's always asking for two arguments, or if there might be, oh, you know what? There might be a, I'm curious. I'm curious what the documentation says about table.remove, because I can see you can use like, sorry, I can't even freaking talk right now. I can't even make sense. Table.insert. A pop operation. This is what I was thinking of. Pop, to get like the last table of an array. You just like do pop it to remove just the latest. But the table.remove takes in, normally asks for two arguments, first of which is a table, second of which is the index to the table to be removed. Which element? I guess they're calling. But I'm curious if you can run it with in a one argument mode and if it functions like a pop operation. If you treat it without this. Because the reason we have it 2 and 1 and not 1 2 is if we remove the first array, then it'll remove the first vulture, but then then there would be no there'd be no second array in our vultures table anymore. So that's why we got to do 2 and then 1. But I'm wondering if we run it without any bonus arguments, if it might function as like a pop function, basically. Oh, I think it does. So yeah, look at them raised like that. We need something like that for our character, except also flash us for 4 seconds unless we start putting input. Okay. But that was worth implementing, right? That's this, we should probably respawn vultures. But here, the thing to note about what we just did, I guess, is to say, if we spawn a third vulture, pressing V won't reset that third vulture right now, because we designed it in such a way where we hard-coded in, hey, remove both values from vultures, because I think if we turn this off, if pressing V only removes one of the vultures, only one will reset and respawn. I'm going to try it here now. Ooh. So it's, yeah, it doesn't remove, this is crazy, this is crazy. It doesn't remove the vulture on the right. It just spawns in a new one on the left. Well, I don't know. Oh no, it removes the one on the left. No way. Oh. Oh my gosh, I'm getting like Mario Fireball action right now. This is sick. You can make, yeah, I want to make like an opera of all these guys. Look at how many objects it's trying to keep track of right now, dude. That's insane. And they're all buggy. That's insane. It can hold that many objects. Isn't that a beauty? This is like straight out of Lion King. Look how many there are. Oh my god. I can't believe that it can handle that. They're all buggy. I don't know how to fix that bug. But yeah, if you don't removing it twice kind of proves that it functions like a pop. Like a pop function. I don't know how to put it other than that. Instead of appending, instead of just removing whatever is the first index, it removes the last one. And inserts it into the beginning, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so like our insert function takes a table, our vultures table, and then it takes a table into that table as its first index. Okay. Well, we at least need the timer right. When we're dead, we need to spawn not at wherever we spawn right here, but we need to spawn like we do, like the vultures do. We need to spawn from the platform. So, first things first, let's review how we did the viewport for our rising animation. Where did we do that? Yeah, where did we do it just in the render? Oh, you know what? I think we do. I think we're sneaky about it. Yeah. Okay. Where is the... Yeah, we're looking for the spawning and spawning coming out of the ground, you know? Which is... Oh, here's what it is. It's not even here. It's in our vulture class. We need to give it something similar in our ostrich class. But we only implement it here. Where do we do it? Vulture walking. I don't know where we do it. Spawn viewport is how we did it here. So we have a flag called spawning that if it's triggered true, we will not move the vulture itself to be below and then draw the vulture's object like that. We keep our ostrich, we keep our vulture at whatever our instantiated positions are, but we only render this this self.draw that takes in an atlas, takes in a quad or a texture, and then that's the one it's rendering. Depending on which way it's facing, it can be flipped on the x-axis. And I'm not convinced we actually need this self.width argument, but otherwise, why would I have it in here, you know? Like, it seems like a weird thing to forget in there. Still got to do pterodactyl. We still got to actually print our lives. Sorry, hold on. That's what we should do next, is print our 4 lives to the screen. So how would we do that? In which body of code is our lines even at? Our lives for the play state, self.lives. So I'll tell you what, we need to render, might as well, in our play state, render our player 1 lives. Well, it's not player 1 lives, it's self.lives. So this is in our render function, so we can say love.graphics.print, and what we're going to print is a string saying lives. And then we're going to concatenate our lives is an integer, our lives member on our place state object gets converted to a string instead of an integer, and then we concatenate it to this string called lives. We print that to the screen every frame, basically. We print our self lives. But we need to tell it where to print it, not just what to print. So our x for this will be 0. No, it'll be, we'll give it a little bit. And our y, virtual height minus maybe 25 or something. We'll see if that works. Lives 4. So we didn't actually decrement our lives yet upon death. But if player death, then let's see, and how do we do this? How do we reference? Oh no, we're in play state. So yeah, we can reference our self.lives, no problem. So we say self.lives get your current life. Minus 1. And then we reinstantiate a new one, which would have so I guess we still need to delete this, right? No, we don't need to delete it because we literally assign new information into the same variable. So it would overwrite it anyway. At least that's my reasoning or my thinking. So we'll see if our lives actually decrement here. Yep, sure does. Stays at 3 until we die again. I mean, at this point, you know, it's like we might as well add a little game over state to just have a functional game with a, you know, with a lose state when we're testing it like this, because this is kind of fun. See, look, we shouldn't be able to have -1 lives. That's a good idea, though. That's a good like game jam name. Okay. So why don't we? This is kind of interesting. So in our Lua main function, what if we said if our play state see, can we reference our play state like an object? It is a class. So just like how we're referencing, well, they're a little different. Class is getting curly braces here, but our play state is getting curly braces that inherits a base state. Oopsie. Okay, so it kind of means, I think it is the same. Yeah, so I think I can say self.lives on our play state. I think we can do that. But I also wanted to change the font of our lives. But let's see if this works. Like if play state dot lives is equal to 2, let's say, then we'll actually trigger help state or something, like just to see it, just to see if it works for our game over state. if playstate lives is 2, then the code for it is like we need to say state machine change something like that to help state index, something like that, or help state key, because where do we set it to? I mean, we do it right here. We set it to place state. So I guess we need to say I don't know. This is all a learning process, you know. If playstate.lives is 3 or 4, gosh, I guess it is. Yeah, we would want to do this. God damn. We'd want to do this after the 2. I think. If playstate lives. God damn it. How would we do this? Just say smaller than 3. And if our lives are smaller than 5 or whatever, then still be in place state or whatever. Oh no, it should. Shoot, no, it should do it. No, this is right. This just needs to sit out. And if playstate lives is an equality operator to 3, change to the help state for now. And actually, I want to see what our help state is looking like, which I thought, oopsie, symbol in main 56. We didn't, oh, you don't do a string index or anything, or it just takes a string. We assign the string to be a key with this bracket notation, I'm pretty sure. But I don't know exactly, but let's see if that works. Oh, come on. Here, if I do H, it prints some stuff. Have fun to win is what my help state is looking like right now. Help state should... God damn, I don't know what to do. Because now I'm thinking like help state should be a toggle that kind of pauses the game and comes back to it. Like an overlay that keeps all the stuff. But then you can pause it, so maybe not. I just wanted pressing H to kind of tell you how to operate the game, like how to fly and stuff. So maybe it can just be maybe help state. So yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to let me do one thing at a time here. Let me try to. There's so many things to do. I need to. Oh gosh. Okay, let me just write this down. There's so many things we gotta do. For now, I'm gonna say we need to spawn player at platform portal upon death. And then we need to do the graphics for drawing spawn viewport. We need to make it look like it comes out of the ground. Then we need to start timer for temporary safety, which is what the game calls it. The original calls it for temporary safety. Max is 4. And then temporary safety renders flashy player, which is like 2 bright frames alternating, it looks like, at least on this mode. Oh god. I gave myself an easy to-do list there so I can just get one of them done. We need to find where we're printing our lives, which I think is in our play state. And we're printing it right here. And we're actually going to set font love.graphics.set font to our small font before we print out our lives. There, that should be our pixel font. But we also, upon lives being 0, we want to trigger our help state, at least for now, to see if we can do this as simply as we're thinking, because I want to say in our main, if our lives, basically I'm wanting to test if we can index into our play state member in our main game loop, which right here we're saying if play state lives is 3, change to help state. Okay, now we already have the code in there, so let's see if it works. If we get hit and we die, does it bring up the help state? If it does, then we'll make a, okay, it didn't. Yeah, we need it to change. We need it to change from our play state upon lives being 3. Yeah, it's hard to say how to do this. I've never done something like this before. Change the play state in the main game loop. No, maybe we have. I don't think we've ever tried to index into a play state before, though. But why wouldn't we be able to? It's a class. It's got a member called self.lives that gets updated, you know? So if playstate.lives is 3, yeah. Maybe we'll just say is smaller than 4. And we'll see if it changes. G state machine change. Yeah. I think, because the thing is, I think it is changing this. Oh, shoot. But then it might change back to a play state on the first frame, and upon frame state, it would be self.lives gets 4 every frame. Well, 56 couldn't even do it. Yeah, I can't even do it. What does it say? Why does it say main 56, attempt to compare nil with a number? nil with a number. So this play state lives is being nil because nil is just like a catch-all for hasn't been assigned, like has no value. So that's like a debugging help to say in some ways say nil means you didn't do it right because it doesn't have a value assigned there. I guess I don't know what to do. You know, we have our state machine. We should be able to change, you know, maybe, hold on, maybe we say is smaller than 4. Oh, it can't read it. It can't read it. So yeah, we can't perform arithmetic on this number because it's nil. So, but why not? It includes a base state. Let's take a peek into our base state because we didn't write base state. This was someone in the community had made a Lua, a class function in Lua. But this is all base state is just a set of different functions for it. So when we make our play state class, it's just a way of saying when we make any new play state, we just say, hey, these are all the functions we need. And when we make it, it's going to include all those things. It's going to include a class of functions, I guess. Not really a class, but it puts it into a class. Goddamn. Okay. So we can't access this member from the main game loop. But maybe we don't need to because we can access it in this game loop, which means we need to take our change to help state logic out of main and maybe move it into play state. So we say, why not check it right at the beginning and say, hey, if not play state.lives, because that's nil, self.lives smaller than 4, we're going to change to the help state. I just want to see if I can trigger it to change upon death, because that means we're just that close to writing our own game over state. Yo, it worked. Okay, so what we're gonna do, you're gonna see us add a new class today, not a new class, a new play state. So I'll tell you what, we'll go here. We'll go to where our states are. We'll make a new file. This is actually called game over .lua. We need to save it as that file in our states, in our get joust states game over state. We have the word state in all our other states, so might as well, for consistency's sake, keep it like that. And then we need to give us, right? We need to give us a class we need to do that. That includes the base state, right? That's not quite right. I'm trying to write this without referencing the other one. Includes base state. What do we have to do to this? But basically, we know that our play state needs 3 different functions, at least from the get-go, where it needs the init values, it needs the update with DT values. I always like to think about how this is a great framework to think of all games in sense of all it is information, register user input, calculate some stuff, update frame, render the frame, or so it's like input, simulate, render, or calculate, or whatever you want to call it. But that's what I think of when I'm writing these empty these classes, which it's going to be real simple, and all it's going to do is draw a you know what, I think not even being a state. It doesn't need to be a state. Wait, no. I'm thinking why it would need to be a state, because we can just say in our play state, if lives is 0, then just print out game over, like we're doing right now, over the screen of all the other options instead of rendering a different state. So I don't think we actually want this game over state just yet. Yeah, I don't think we do. Okay. Well, I don't think we want that just yet, because a whole state for game over is a little overkill, and we can actually still draw the enemies that killed you in the game over state if we do it this way. So I'm kind of okay with getting rid of that. But that's just one instance of doing work for code and then it just doesn't work out. You just gotta trash it all. But now we can say, instead of, and we can do this in the render function actually, we can say if our lives is 0, we need to make sure we don't spawn another vulture after lives is 0. If lives gets to 0, if lives gets smaller than 1, then we need to say game over. So we can say if player 1, not player 1.lives, if self.lives. If self.lives is smaller than 1, then what we really need to do is set a variable called game over gets true. And then we only need to hold on, we don't need this anymore. Yeah, I don't like how our help state's working currently, but you know what? Yeah, we can change that. See, this is actually the same problem. The help state, it's not really a state machine change isn't what I really want from that functionality. What I really want is to keep all of our play state logic and characters, but just be able to draw a help mode that you can toggle on and off. So that shouldn't be a state either. Because look, I bet if we look at our help state, it's just going to be 3 functions and 2 of them are empty, right? Our init and our update are probably empty. It's probably just all render printing statements, which is going to be our game over state anyway. But we don't need a state change for it. I do check if H is pressed, which makes sense. We don't need this. We don't need this. And we can probably invent this better than copy and pasting this. So I guess we need to get rid of our help state. I just deleted it. Now, instead of pressing H, changing our state machine, we will just render something special. You know, we'll say Levis pressed. So what we really want to do is kind of, I'll first set a color, right? And it can be a color, it can have some color, because we're just gonna actually take down the opacity in the 4th argument here so that it'll be transparent, but then we can write our helping logic above this kind of faded color. So maybe like 40. And we can test that where actually this is, we want to clear the screen to this, I think. And that should draw it at 40% opacity over everything else. But it's not toggleable right now, I think. Yeah. Well, we don't need these actually. In our main, we don't need our help state right now. Okay, let's try that. Our dependencies folder. We can take out this help state because we don't have it. We don't even have, oh gosh, let me look at how many states we actually have in our Joust. states. We've got a fail, a play, a title screen, and a win. Okay, those are the ones we've got. Okay. Oops. Okay, let's try it again. We need to fix that bug. Okay, yeah, deducted our life. Now if we press H, I'm not seeing anything happen. So something's gone wrong in my implementation. So in play state, if keyboard was, oh, you know what? Yeah, that is one thing it would help with, where this doesn't check for continuous input, but yeah. I guess I want to call a boolean of like help toggle, right? Help toggle starts false. If you press H once, it gets flipped, or every time you press H, that gets flipped. So we need to say, I think I've got my, God dang, where do I put it? We need it in the render. I'll put it after, I'll put it everything, on top of everything, right? Because if H is pressed, or we need to say, God dang it, actually, no, yeah. We don't want to be asking for input in our render logic. Necessarily, I guess. That's how we're doing it here. This isn't a render function, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, hold on. I'm going to do this. Copy that. Go to our update function. And I'm going to do if H was pressed, then our self-help toggle gets not self-help toggle, which should flip its value. And then let's just say we want to render a full color for now. A solid white, I guess, upon pressing H. But it's not if it's pressing H, it's if our self-help toggle's on. Now I'm worried about, it would be swapping it every frame. So if we hold H, it should flash at us. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, it's only, well, it works and it doesn't. Okay. Okay, so now can we do that? That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to do it transparent, right? You can't clear it. So what if you don't clear it? You just draw. How do you would want? I would want to draw like a solid. Draw a solid value, but or what do we do? We set it to clear with a low, oopsie. Or what if before we clear it, we do, we set its color. So okay, so here's the thing. We're gonna put a high red color, mid low blue color, and a lower green color. We're going to give it full opacity though, but let's just see what that color is first of all. It's going to be the color before we fade it. Yeah, I wanted it orange like lava like that, but maybe it needs less blue. Let me put this right here so I can click it. Okay, help, yeah. So we need to fade this red color out, and I'm wondering if we can do it with, we're clearing it with the color, but we want to clear it, we want to set our color. I don't know if this will work. Because I've noticed that if you set a color to a PNG or something before you draw it, it kind of inherits whatever color is active. And oftentimes it isn't white, so I have to set it to default white. So I'm wondering if I set it to not default white, but 60 transparency, if it would give us a little overlay of that red color, but transparent, which it does not seem to be doing. And I did set it, and if we do this to anything other than 55, I think it'll show black. Oopsie. No, it worked at 254. Black. What about 250? Why does it go from black to, like, does 200 is black? I don't know why it would be black at 40 but red at, oh, see, it has to do more with the darkness, not the transparency, I guess. Because clear is the whole color, but I really don't know. I really don't know. I want an overlay. I'm an overlay. I would want, here, let me look up the love.graphics. No, here, I got an idea. I got an idea. I'll use this here. I'll use this. I'll use both this color. What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, here's my idea. Love.graphics. Dot draw. No, dot rectangle. Right? Right? Take me 5 tries to spell rectangle. Love.graphics.rectangle in fill mode. And I'll tell you what, we want our X to be 0, our Y to be 0, draw from the top left, and our width is our virtual width. And our height is our virtual height. And we'll set our color. We'll set our color to be transparent before we draw that rectangle. And then I guess we'll just see if that works. That's kind of it, right? I mean, I wanted like, like a help. We're going to have screen or text on here, but I want this to be red, I want that, um, I think I want that higher, and I want this a little higher, maybe 100, with some, yeah, I don't know why I like that. It looks like Predator Vision or something. I like it. But that's where we'll print our help info. And I guess, it's like we're trying to make Joust, but we're also making our own Joust. So it's kind of like, because in my game, I just think it's fun to have like directions, um, at least for this prototyping stage. I just think it's fun, I want to see if I can figure out how to toggle on a transparent, help menu. Um, so this is great because now do we can set our font to our small font, and then we can print out a couple of couple of instructions or whatever. Love.graphics.print. And I did like the formatted string idea there. I'm curious about the formatted string documentation. Because it takes in a way to center things. Love 2D formatted string. Yeah, printf. Yeah, I should have just said printf, not text xy limit align. So wrap the line after this many horizontal pixels. Limit, okay. And then align mode. Okay. So align center. And limit doesn't have to be. Wait. XY. Text. XY limit align. Okay, whatever. Let's just do it. We'll put love.graphics.printf the text, which is a string saying I guess actually, if we're going to be real about it, instead of doing this help toggle, we would really be doing this welcome to Joust, doing this tutorial here, if we're being real about it, Sick. That's so sick. Yeah, for now, I'm going to keep the help toggle. I think this would be a fun exercise. I don't know if I want to do it exactly, though. I mean, it's going to be so hard. I'm really trying to make the game, but also doing little cinematics like this is really cool. And something I'd want to do in my games, So, probably worth it to give it a shot. But we're not doing that now. We're just going to print up some simple stuff. And we're going to reset our color to be perfectly white before we do this help stuff. And it's just going to say stuff like, you know, How would we? Fuck. We need an escape character, yeah, which I thought was a backslash. But it doesn't look to be. Maybe it's a forward slash. Oh, is that it? I'm trying to do. Shoot, I don't know. Yeah, that might work. I think that's the escape character. Oh, we need the X and Y limited line, right? So X can be, since X is going to be affected by the align, we just say 0. The height may be virtual height divided by 2 right in the middle, I guess. And then we're going to say XY width and height, really? It's got to take a width and height. God dang, god dang, god. What if we don't give it a limited, what if we just say limited line, not width and height? Text, XY, limited line. Was that it? God damn it. Where was that? Text XY limited line. Okay, no width height. Okay, just limited line. It's getting late, guys. It's getting late. It's 12:11. Okay. Limit align. So limit, we'll just say virtual width is the limit, and then the align we'll do center. And we'll see if we now have an escape character printed on our help screen. And we do, we just don't have the end. That's great. That's great, man. Yeah, we need another escape character to print up that one. And then we need to end our string. Perfect. So yeah, we've got all this to be like, I really like that. So look, we've got lives. We took out our help state, we took out our help state and instead just put it on a toggleable thing because we don't need to change our, it was never meant to change our game state when you're figuring out the controls. You know, you can just leave that on if you wanted while you played to remind you the controls. But for right now, we just have that saying there. We could, you know, I'm curious. I don't know if there's a drop shadow effect on the game here, but I can give this a drop shadow effect fairly easily, you know. We would draw a black version of it first, and we would just draw it at a little bit of an offset, right? 0 for RGBs. Full transparency though, and we're gonna set it at see, look, we would need an X offset. Limit line R is SX, is that scale? See, look, we need this origin offset X axis. We need this argument, which is after a line, we need, goddamn, scale X, scale X, scale factor, X and Y. Okay, so limit line, rotation, scale, then offset X. So we need to say limit line rotation scale. So rotation 0, scale x 0, scale y 0. Next input, no, it's not 0, we need 1. Positive 1 for both the y and the x there. And then this one is x offset. So we can offset it by maybe 3 pixels. And then we need to also offset the y by about 3 pixels. And that will draw white with a little drop shadow, I'm hoping. Yeah, look at that. So we did it a little wrong. But it's x offset 3. I don't get why it went upwards instead of downwards. I thought it would have gone right into the downward, but it went left into the upward. But yeah, maybe just yeah, let me just see if it's because yeah, the black, hold on. Scale x, oh yeah, scale x needs to be 1, 1, and then it needs to be offset x, which we'll just put it as a 1 and see without putting the offset y. Yeah, that's like basically what I wanted, but it moves into the other direction I wouldn't expect. I thought an x offset. Oh, you know what? We figured this out. Yeah, x offset isn't like adding 1 to x. It's shifting the picture over 1 pixel to the left. It's moving the x offset that's calling like a value. It's yeah. Okay, but anyways, I think if we instead of this x offset, we need to offset it to the left. But that's scale x. This one is x offset x. And then we want -1 for the y as well. This is just, this is totally just me messing around because I wanted to see if I could do a little drop shadow, which I think kind of looks interesting, Which, I was able to do that by thinking about it. You just draw a black one, then draw a white one on top of it, and you get a little drop shadow action in there. Okay. That's, that doesn't really matter, but that's what we want to happen when our lives are 0. We don't spawn any more player 1s. We say hit R to restart or whatever. So we need to not spawn something if our character is having 0 lives. Which I guess we can do. Or do we do that? Yeah, look. Self.lives, then game over is true. So in our play state, we could say if game over is true, do something like our help state, which we're drawing now right here. And we're drawing it based on a Boolean value of our play state member or class. So does that mean we need to do a game over toggle? Because when are we spawning? Okay, so look, if our player 1 is dead, meaning we already exploded all of our frames out, decrement our lives, but if self dot lives greater than 0, then decrement our lives. Spawn another one. But we need to say else if lives is 0. No, so yeah, shoot. We don't want to do, we want to find where this gets toggled true. Player 1.death. Because we don't want to, yeah, if our lives is 0, we don't want to instantiate a new player over it. We just want to print game over on the screen. And we could even put that red, title over it or whatever. As a pseudo game state, it puts the red over the screen, registers some text, So where is this player 1 death getting set to true? .death. Where is it getting set? Really? No. Oh, it's in here. It's in the self.death. Yeah. So it triggers to true after explosion timer. Does all its frames. So how does it help me? We need to say guess. Fuck, what do we say? Here, we need to say like, no, hold on. God damn it. Okay. Right here. If we've exploded, we're not only gonna die, but we're gonna this is where we're gonna set our game over flag. To get true, but only if lives upon dying, if our self.lives, which actually we don't have self.lives. Shoot. Oh, God dang it. Okay, we're gonna have to figure that out. Because we can't access this. This was the same problem. We can't. I don't know how to do this. Well, haven't I been writing code for self.lives or something? Shit, yeah, fuck. I can tell you what though, we can kind of do this. Maybe. We can say hold on one sec. God dang it. God dang it. We want to trigger our game over being true, right? Well, here in the ostrich state, we're just going to trigger death. But in our play state, we need to say, hey, if player death and our lives is 0, or I guess, hold on, greater than 0. See, so this should be greater than 1, and then if our lives are greater than 1, then otherwise, if our self.lives equal to 1, meaning we died with 1 life left, self.lives is equal to 1, then we don't instantiate a new player. We get self.lives decrementing to 0. And we also trigger our game over Boolean that is residing in our ostrich. Where is this game over Boolean? It's not here. It's not here. It's not here. Did we not make it? I could have sworn we made it. Crap, what were we just doing? Here, if self.lives is 1, then, oh no, yeah, we need to, where are we doing our game over? Well, did we not make a game over Boolean? I could have sworn we did. I remember capitalizing the O. Yeah, that's in our play state. Okay, we need that up there, I guess. Game over gets false up here. Yeah, 1 match. Okay, whatever. Whatever. Self.game over gets false initially. And then we need to add see inner play state. Yeah, we need to do, oh my god, if self.lives is 1, self.lives gets to be 0, and then we need to set our self game over to be equal to true. Then oh no, if lives is okay. So if lives, sorry. I think, okay, what we just did will make it so that if our self-lives is 0. Oh, no. Once we have self-lives, that's self-lives getting decremented to 0. That's when we trigger game over, so we can delete this. But then we need to do something very similar to our help function, which, where did we draw that? We render it up here. So this here, this we can say, wait, this isn't it. Gosh, where is it? If help is pressed. Yeah, help toggle. So the thing is, where, god dang it. Where is the help toggle logic here? So help toggle, so we need a game over toggle, or game over, game over is our toggle. Then here, I'm just gonna say, we're gonna take this and we're gonna say if self.game over, then hopefully we won't be rendering our new ostrich. Hopefully our lives stay at 0. Everything kind of keeps going on. But actually we just need these. Gonna set font. Gonna set a black one called Game Over. Then we're gonna set a white one at Game Over, directly in the center. If PlayState's Game Over is true. So we got help state, but then let's see if we die 4 times. If we die when our lives are at 1, it should trigger us to have no lives anymore, no new instantiation of ostrich, and render Game Over on the screen without the tint of our help state. It just says game. That's because we're doing the crop or something, maybe. No, I don't know. I don't know why. Oh. Okay, never mind. Never mind. That's all my bad. It's all my bad. This is the color that we set to before we draw the rectangle, so I'm going to paste that above our Game Over toggle as well. Now, right now, I'm going to say, gosh, it's hard to trigger this. It's like I'm trying to say, I just need to write another. You know, I'm trying to just say, toggle your Game Over, and I don't want to wait 4 lives for it to toggle, so I'm just saying, like, hey, toggle Game Over after lines 3 and see if it would still probably spawn. Shoot, yeah. I don't know, man. It would still, with this, didn't work. Didn't work. Okay, well, shit. I mean, I'm getting tired. I'm getting real tired. I think instead of doing the stupid logic I just typed out that broke it. Where is it, man? Where is it? It's like I can't even remember what I was just typing, you know? Where I was just typing. It was right here. We're gonna get rid of this line. We're gonna say smaller than 4. See, we actually don't. We want to check if lives is 1 first. And then else if do the other thing. If self life says 1, then do that. Otherwise, do this. Otherwise, decrement your life. Yeah, and then if it is one, we decrement your life before we switch it to game over. So let me see if the game over is triggering. Well, play state 69. Else if okay. We're gonna see if our game over. Come on. We don't need an if there, yeah. It's either you're at selflives.1, in which case we're gonna decrement you to 0. Oh, you know what? That's not right. We need to say also if self-lives 0, do nothing. And then that's when we do else of this. Can I just leave nothing like in there like that? It's like an exception case. I don't know what to call that. So we're trying to see if we decrement to 3 lives, and then 2 lives. Come on, man, kill us. 2 lives, and then to 1 life. Then if we die with 1 life, it'll trigger game over. Come on. Nice. Yes, and it doesn't spawn us again. Perfect. So we took out the game states. We took out our help state and our game over state. But look at this. We can do both at once, which we probably don't want. But yeah, we can fix that easy. Let's fix that right now, actually. If game toggle and if game over and not self-talk, not, no, hold on. If self, God damn it. God damn it. We're rendering this if a thing is true. But I think and not game over. We'll fix it. Because if it's game over, just render your game over stuff. But if help toggle and when it's not game over, then sure, render your help stuff. Now, I guess that's all I want to add for today. You know, we didn't get our spawn at a different position, which maybe we can do that just to give us a little bit closer of functionality. But that's going to be, it's in our death. No, it's in our, we reinstantiate an ostrich upon an ostrich death, right? Which would be in our ostrich class. And I think it's .death. But it's when .death gets set to true. No? Here. No, that's not when we're instantiating a new ostrich. When do we make them? Oh, when do we make the new ostrich upon death? I guess it would be called player 1, right? Which means maybe it's just in the play state. Yep, right here. So instead of doing it here, let's say we want to just spawn them. Instead of right where he died, let's put him on this platform 4, on the right side of platform 4. And then we'll make him zoom upwards later, but we'll just put him at the, if we do platform 4, crap, does place seat have access to platform 4? Oh god, what a mess, dude. It's so many. For right now, I'm not going to mess with it. We'll just have to do the platforms. Luckily, the platforms don't change between all the waves, I think. So actually, it won't be too bad to just say platform 4. Yeah, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Oh gosh, where are we? Yeah, where's our dot death? Here. Okay. Our X is going to be platform 4's X. Plus platform 4's width, but minus our player's width, plus probably some of a buffer. That's our X. And our Y is going to be a platform for Y shifted up by the height of the player, because we don't need, we can draw, yeah, we're like spawning it on standing height on the platform here ultimately, but when we render it a little bit differently, but it's actually physically at right above that platform 4. So upon dying, let's see, 72. My bad. I'm getting tired, y'all. Okay, so we're gonna dice, and then I'm hoping to respawn up here on the left up platform. Not the topmost one, but shoot. Well, well. Yep. Well, what was this before? I'm gonna have to figure it out. I don't know, man. Oopsie. What are you doing? Okay, whatever, man. I'm gonna call that a day because I can hardly think, but I'm gonna commit. Oh shoot, we missed our green square from yesterday because we didn't commit before midnight. That's okay. Oh, it's okay. You know, it's the goal's coding every day. It's like, yeah, I missed the 24-hour period, whatever, but today's still today. We're gonna get ad with a message saying removed help and remove, or let's say modified. Gosh, I don't know. Modified help and game state out of state machine. Yeah. And we're going to get push it to our origin main. Okay. Yeah, so today, you know, we didn't get, I got a little distracted with the help state. But now we've got a little help state. We've got our lives, which we didn't have before. We've got our lives decrementing upon death, and we have dying game over state upon lives being 0. So I kind of just saw an opportunity to be like, you know, with a little bit more work, this turns into the core of the game better, in the sense that you need 4 lives, and then when you die, game over, and you don't spawn back again until you retry or whatever. So it is just like I saw an opportunity to be like, yo, this kind of turns it into a game because you can lose. So I just wanted to implement that right away, just because it's fun, I guess. I don't know. It needs to happen, and that's the whole joy of making it. So yeah, thanks for watching, I guess. Jeez, 2 hours. We'll see you tomorrow.